Well, one more time, and now we're going to look at notes receivable. And remember, a note receivable is usually an account receivable that the company hasn't been able to pay, and they're going to turn it into a note receivable so they can have more time to pay it. And it has a maturity value, which is written on the face of the note, and there's usually interest involved. In fact, there's always interest involved. So when they pay it off, the maturity value of that is the amount they've borrowed or they've put on the note plus the interest. And let's kind of review how we figure the days. You take each day for each month, and then you'll find your due date here. So we started on March 16th. There are 15 days in March. There are 30 days in April. There are 31 days in May. And it's supposed to be a 90-day note, so it will be due on June 14th. All of them are figured this way. There's no trick to it. So let's kind of walk through one of these. They received a $6,000 note at 12% for 30 days, and it was dated November 21st, 2014, for an account of a bun company. So they already have it in accounts receivable, and they're going to take it out of accounts receivable and put it into notes payable. First general entry. Takes it out of a receivable and puts it into a note receivable. On December 21st, right here, they've paid it. Now, this is what you call the maturity value, $6,060. That includes the note receivable and the interest revenue, or the interest that they're going to receive, they're going to pay you. That's revenue for you. So that would be $6,000 plus $6,000 times 12% times 30 divided by 360, which is 1 month, because your 12% is always going to be an annual rate, so you've got to cut that down to 1 month. So it's $6,000 times 12% times 30 divided by 360, and that will come up with $60. So what do you know you're going to receive? $6,060. We know the note receivable is $6,000, and then you have to show that interest revenue. So that's how you kind of, that's a very simple note receivable, 30 days in and out, standard journal entry. And you know it'll always get more complicated, right? Here's one, it's dishonored. Okay, that means they didn't pay this. So now what do? Well, first of all, I've got to take it out of my notes receivable. I still have to record this interest revenue, and now I'm going to put it into an accounts receivable and send them a bill that includes the interest. Now, how that gets collected, it may have to go to a collector, it may have to be aged, it may have to be written off. But we've got to get it out of the note receivable, we've got to record that revenue, and we have to put it into accounts receivable. And finally, here's another one we're going to do. This is a 90-day note. Oh my goodness, I did it again. Here's a 90-day note at 12%. And now this is where it gets complex. This is on December 1st, 2014. If it's a 90-day note, what does that mean? That it's going to be due in 2015. So we're going to have to, because the end of the year is going to be December 31st, we're going to have to do some calculations. So first of all, we record it. It comes out of accounts receivable into notes payable, or notes receivable. And at the end of the year, I've got to look at this, and I've got to say, okay, I'm closing my accounts. They owe me interest, and I need to record that. I don't have any money, though, so how do I do that? Well, first of all, we know it's an interest revenue, and we know that because it's accrued interest, so it's $4,000 times 12% times the 30 over the 360, because it's 1 month. That comes to $40. we're going to put that in an interest receivable and keep that on the books. But that will show up now on our income statement as an interest revenue earned because we're matching. Now hold that thought. Let's go down to when they pay it. So they come up on March 1st, 2015. They owe us $4,120 with the interest. Interest is figured by 4,000 times 12% times the 90 over the 360. And that comes to 120. Well, I've already recorded some of that 120. So let's go with what I know. First of all, I have cash of 4,120. I know the note receivable is 4,000. I know I have a receivable on that for $40 that I have to get rid of, and I have to recognize that $80 revenue for year 2015. And most notes are like this. I mean, especially if you have them towards the end of the year. So, does that make sense? I hope so. We'll be doing a couple of these in class so that you'll understand them. Okay?